Hey Stampers! Just as I promised, I've come back to give you a video class on making our second Make and Take kit. We're going to be using the Summer Smooches paper for our little handbag. In your kit you will find one of several of the designs of really pretty DSP in the Summer Smooches set. If you're cutting along at home, you're going to need a 9 by 12 inch piece of designer series paper, a 1 by 11 inch piece of coordinating cardstock, a 3/4 by 10 3/4 inch piece of DSP, and 5.5 by 8.5 of contrasting cardstock for cutting a flower, a 9 1 inch and a 6 1 inch piece of the same cardstock that you use for your other embellishments. We're going to feature our vintage buttons, our fun flower Sizzix die, our brads, thread, and dimensionals. Also sponges. So let's begin by taking our 9 by 12 inch piece of cardstock and scoring it on the 12 inch side. We're going to score it at 1, at 5 1/4, at 6 3/4, and 11. Don't you love the way our scoring tool allows us to put markers so we can remember our measurements? Boy, do I need to always remember the measurements. Now turn your paper lengthwise, and we're going to change our scoring markers to 1.5 and 7.5. So again, on the 9 inch side, you're going to score at 1.5 and 7.5. After you've scored your paper, you want to make sure that you press your folds, but you're going to fold on the 9 inch side toward whatever pattern you want to be the outside of your bag. Then you're going to turn your paper over. This will be the wrong side or the inside of the bag. And go ahead and make sure all those score marks are creased nicely. And those few extra minutes you take doing a project that you score and you go ahead and reinforce those scores really pay off in the end for a much nicer, flatter, plain project. And then there's the 2 scores in the bottom of the bag that you're going to want to crispen up as well. So you can see your little bag is coming together quite nicely. Take your snips and you're going to cut the center 2 scores just to that first line so that you can begin assembly of your bag. Now this bag is perfect for holding the cards that you have in your kit to make later. I went ahead and just used a little snail and got these little flaps out of my way. They're not really necessary on the outside of our box. So this is the inside of your box, and then this becomes the outside. Now working from the outside, we're going to make our little decoration. In your kit, I did not punch your strips. You just have solid strips, and it's okay. You can keep them solid if you'd like, or you can go ahead and use your favorite border punch. And I'm just going to show you really quickly how you operate Stampin' Up's border punches. You put the paper inside, and there's a little mark. If you can see it, I'm not sure the camera angle, if you can see that little mark, but that's where the die is actually cutting. The punch is actually cutting there. So you don't want to put your paper in. Oh, it helps if you open the punch any farther than that little line. So you can kind of see that in there to start your punch all the way to the end of your paper. Now there's 2 different ways to match up, the way the manufacturer suggests to do it and the way I like to do it. So I'm going to show you how the manufacturer suggests you use this punch. Now there's your first set of punches. But if you line this up, putting your edge to the bottom edge, if you've cut straight, and covering up all the silver markings across, left there by the manufacturer, you should be able to punch again. Just want to make sure I get this right for you on camera the first time. And you have a continuous line of punches. What I also like to do, and is easy for me, is I can see the colored cardstock through the back of the punch right here. And I often just pull the cardstock to where I can see it goes all the way to the end and give it a punch from the back side. Again, continuous line. And you want to go ahead and even get that last little end piece so that your whole paper is punched all the way across. There we have it. Alright, so what we want to do is we have these creased down really nice, but what we want to do is just tack them down a little bit so when we're working on this project it doesn't flip back up on us. But we don't want to glue it all the way down yet because we're going to put this strip underneath here. So you want to have some room so that it still flips up. To line it up, I love our grid paper for lining up so you don't have to keep pulling out the ruler. I'm going to go ahead and put this at the 6.5 inch line and make sure it's straight. And then I'm going to head and line the scallops up on the center line of the paper. And you'll be able to see that center line here and here. So you can see that you're lining up. So now that I know what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some adhesive on the back. And snail works great, or you can use liquid glue if you like to work with liquid glue or glue stick. Lift up the flap, keeping it at the 6.5 inch line, slip it in there, and then using my grid paper as a guide to make sure that I have. Okay, remember we tacked this down before, so now we're going to flip it up. And we want our bag to be secure, so I really want adhesive across that whole thing. And then we're going to make sure that it sticks down there, nice and flat. Now we're going to do the same on the second side by taking the shorter piece of paper that we've already punched. Again, we're going to just hold this down, put it on the 6.5 inch line. This time we're not going to be able to extend it all the way up to the end, but you can still follow your pattern line if you have a pattern, or just judge it to be about 1/2 inch. And sometimes I just slide it to the end and then slide it to the center. And then I pretty much know I've got that straight. I always try to measure twice, glue once, so we'll see how successful this ends up being. I think when you're working at home and you're not on camera, you're more apt to do it straighter. Wiggling here. I'm a little bit anxious for the project to go together well. Alright, there we go. That was a little bit harder than it needed to be just for camera purposes. Again, we're going to make sure we have a nice sticky line there so our project stays together. I use my little bags like this on my desk for all kinds of things for a long time. Alright, there you go. Pretty little bag all ready to assemble. Most of you probably can guess that we now need to use some sticky strip if we want our bag to stay together with any permanence. I'll give those lines one more little push here. Okay, and we want this edge to come out on either side. And look at it, matches up. I just got lucky, didn't I? So we're going to put the adhesive on the side that doesn't have. And then just use a new roll. You know, we want to use it to the last inch, but. So we're going to put a line of adhesive right here. And pretty much from top to bottom, because we want to get a good hold on this bag. We want it to stick for us. Both sides. And this bag comes together rather quickly, so if you're doing this as a class, This is a good class to do at a stamp camp, or if you have a good 2-hour class. The cards are easy and the bag doesn't take a long time. So this is how it goes together, okay? I'm going to use a second adhesive and just give it a little extra sticky. I'm going to pull off my red line tape, sticky tape, and then I'm going to put those two surfaces together. Now remember, sticky tape is once and done. Snail could be a little bit more forgiving, and that's why I put it on the inside. So I'm going to line up my outside first. I'm sorry for leaving the camera range there for a second. I like to hold things close into my body when I work. All right, and here we'll do that one more time in case you missed it. Since snail is a little bit less sticky, I'm going to use that on the inside, so in case I touch the paper together before I'm ready to come together, I haven't ruined my project. But I'm going to use the snail, or the sticky tape for the outside to give it the permanence that we really need. So, I kind of have to move the project around until I get a feel for it. Yep, it's coming together. So we're going to line it up. Just let it touch ever so slightly till you get it all lined up. And then you can go ahead and press it down. And then you can use your bone folder and the inside of the bag. Press that sticky strip down, then down, and the snail down. Snail is very permanent adhesive as well, but you have to give it a little what they call burnishing, so you need to rub it.